Great. And we are going to move next in alphabetical order to BigHire. So Zena, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zena King, and I'm one of the co-founders of BigHire. BigHire is a technology-enabled solution that is designed to simplify recruitment and training in the construction industry. I am very excited to be here, so let's jump into the next slide. So the seed for BigHire was planted after having numerous conversations with one of our co-founders, Peter. He has several businesses in the space, and for years he has struggled to find, hire, and train workers. And what we've found in our research is that he is definitely not alone. We've spoken to countless other owners, decision makers, and workers, and they all say the same thing. They're all very frustrated by this inability to connect in a simple way. There's been a lot of coverage in the press on this recently. For example, Bloomberg News, they've published a slew of articles where the headline is that one of the most critical challenges facing the construction industry right now is access to labor. And so the four of us co-founders, we've worked for Fortune 100, 500 companies, solving very complex problems, and we've put our heads together to tackle this one. So if we can look at the next slide. I'll talk about the problems. So the number one problem is that contractors and construction companies have a lot of difficulty finding, hiring, and training workers. Second problem, workers have difficulty finding opportunities. And the third, there is no technology to facilitate this. Just to give you a different perspective on this, last year, the National Association of Home Builders published a report that showed that in 2011, 13% of builders would have said, hey, labor is my number one problem. Fast forward to 2020, and that number has grown to 85%. And so we're getting all of the signals that we're solving a complicated and a critical problem in this industry. And so if we look at the next slide, I'll talk about BigHire. So the solution we're putting forward is to leverage technology so that we can create that space where contractors and workers can connect. And so if you're a contractor, you would use BigHire to post jobs, to find workers, to hire workers. If you're a worker, you would use it to create a profile. You would be able to search for opportunities and apply for those opportunities. You'd also be able to leverage training opportunities as well. We think of ourselves and our competitive advantages in three ways. One, we bring value because we will cost less than our competitors. Two, we bring convenience, and we also bring simplicity to a space where that currently does not exist. So if we look at the next slide, these are some of our key competitors in the space. What we've noted, we've really studied them closely because of course we want to surpass them.
And 30 seconds.
What we've noted is that none of them are solving this problem in a simple and holistic way like BigHire. So on the next slide, you can see that the staffing industry is a $148 billion business annually. In construction, there are close to 700,000 employers. 40% of that is dedicated to residential, and that's the immediate focus for BigHire. And so in closing, I would say that BigHire is servicing a market where there is huge fragmentation, huge inefficiencies, and we see a big opportunity for us to make a very big impact. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. My email is zena@bighireco.com. And I would look forward to engaging with questions.
Thank you, Zena, for your presentation. And now we'll go to the 4 minutes of Q&A. Maria, take it away. Marie, take it away.
Sure. This is Sandra. Sandra, you look like you're ready to ask a question, so go ahead.
I was going to ask, this is kind of twofold, not really though, but so it's hard to compete solely on price. And I know that's one of the things that you mentioned that would make you different. And the other thing that I thought I heard, and it wasn't as clear, was that you guys niche down to just residential. So then my question is, are your competitors niching down as well, or do they hit the residential space? Tell me what the thought process was there.
Yeah, so in terms of what we competitive advantage, price is definitely one. So I think one thing that's key about us is that the price for BigHire, to use BigHire would cost an employer less than what it costs to use a staffing agency for one hire. So that's a really big advantage. If there are employers who want to use our model and also still dabble with another before converting to us, we're giving them that space to do that. And I think in terms of niching down, our focus, we want to hit the market well and penetrate it well. Residential, I think, is an easy place to start because you don't have a lot of the complexities. For example, you don't have to deal with unions at the same level as if you do for commercial or industrial. And so we want to focus on one market, get that down pack, do it well, and then we're going to expand from there.
Thank you. We're going to take a question from Steve. How did you identify this opportunity in the market? Are there any similar solutions? And I'll combine that with Wes's question, which is, among your direct competitors, what is the #1 feature that sets you apart?
Okay, so first question, how did we come on this? So again, it really started with one of our co-founders. He has a really wide network. He owns several businesses, and everyone is struggling with this. Before we kind of went from just a concept to really here's a business, we've spoken to so many individuals. We've been sort of boots on the ground. We've been at Home Depot talking to workers. We've been making office calls to owners just to get a sense, is this really something that you want someone to solve? And literally everyone we talk to, all they say to us is, when are you going to make this available? We haven't had any pushback or anything. So literally there is a thirst and a quench for this in the market. In terms of how we're different from our competitors, I think that's a really good question. One of the things, if you look at our competitors, some of them are still operating using a traditional model. Hey, I'm going to place someone and get a fee, and they're happy with that. They want to remain a middleman, and they're not changing. A few of our competitors are starting to dabble in technology, but they're not looking at it holistically at all. So they're looking at it piecemeal. They still want to be in the middle. BigHire, we don't want to be the middleman. We don't want to be controlling everything. We want some transparency. And so if you're an employer, you will be able to, at your job site, in your truck, at home, pull out your phone and go through an entire recruitment process without getting anyone involved. So we will meet employers where they are, when they are, and we'll give them what they need.
Yeah, we can squeeze one more question. Judges?
Can you talk a little bit about on the worker side? Like you mentioned a couple of things about the employers, but what the experience is like on the employee side of things?
Yeah, it's just really fragmented. So there's a lot of people finding opportunities through staffing agencies or through word of mouth. And we're not looking at sort of day laborers where, hey, you see someone drive around town and they pick up a laborer. We're talking about if you're looking for like a journeyman, if you're looking for a master electrician, it's if you're an employee, a worker, if you're an employee and you don't know someone 2 towns away who's hiring, sometimes there's no way for you to know about this opportunity. So let's say there's someone who is building a row of condos 1 town over and they need 30 electricians. You may never know about this because there isn't one central place where there isn't like a LinkedIn for construction.
Thank you, Zena.
That's time.
Also, I want to just point out there are several questions on the Q&A. Please respond to those. They're really great questions. We just don't have enough time to get to.
Great, I'll do that.
Thank you, Marie. Thanks, Zena. That was fantastic.